afternoon, board members, Ms. Santos, Ms. Randon, and other district staff here present. The time is 12:01 p.m. on this, the 19th day of January, 2021. Call this meeting of the United Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. If I can have board members present here in the boardroom and online say out their names for the record.
Ricardo Molina, Sr.
Roberto Ramirez.
Alicia Olivaros.
And myself, Ramiro Vélez III. The record shows the quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge.
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the state of the Union, one indivisible.
God and one individual.
Thank you. We'll jump into agenda item 4, public comments. I believe we have one individual signed up.
Yes, I'm not sure if she's on. It's Ms. Lucia E. Juarez. She's a partnership specialist for the U.S. Census Bureau.
Ms. Lucia Juarez, are you logged in?
Mr.
Yes, hi, good
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Frank Castillo is present.
Mr. Castillo, present for the record. Ms. Juarez, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, well, good morning, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the U.S. Census to extend a thank you for all the contributions that the United Independent School District had on behalf, helping us through COVID and the COVID challenges that we faced. I want to thank the superintendent, the administrators, the school board, UISD, all the campuses, elementary, middle school, and high school campuses, as well as I want to give a special thanks to Mr. Carlos Garcia for being present during our complete count committee meetings with the county. And I also want to just extend this certificate. I know it's remote, but I hope you can see it right there. On behalf of the census, we want to thank you for all your contributions. You allowed us to enumerate during some of your events, and that really helped because we couldn't at times get to these people because of the COVID challenge. People were hesitant to respond at their doors, so we were better able to access the parents through the district. So thank you so very much, and we hope to come with your assistance throughout the next few years, and then as we work towards the 2030 census. Thank you.
No other individuals signed up. Mr. Cruz, do we need no, we can just go forward. All right, so we're going to move to agenda item 7, items for individual consideration. Item 7A, approval of monthly disbursements.
Mr. Reddy, before we start, again, today and this month is Board Appreciation Month. And really on behalf of the 7,000 employees in the UISD, I want to thank the board for the support that you all have always given us. I know it's different and difficult this year, but again, on behalf of our employees, our parents and our students, want to thank you for what you do for our district.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Redley, my Board of Trustees, members of the audience. The Division of Finance presented you with the disbursements for the month of December. I don't know if at this point you all have any questions about any more of the disbursements.
Nothing. We have any questions? We have a motion regarding the approval monthly disbursements as presented.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor, aye.
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 Those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes. Item 7B, approval of independent audit report for the year ended August 2020.
Yes, Mr. Redley, with us today we have Mr. Carlos Vasco. He's the principal owner and partner of Associates. He did the external audit for United Independent School District. The financial statements ended August 31st, 2020. If he is on the line now, I'll transfer the presentation over to him.
Mr. Casco, are you logged in?
I'm right here. Good afternoon, members of the board. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Guess y'all can nod your heads. Very good. I am your independent auditor. My name is Carlos Cascos, and this is not the first year that we've done United's audit. My presentation will be brief, and I'm going to take you just to a couple of schedules. I'm going to focus on three things. Number one is the unmodified opinions that the school district has earned once again. I'll explain what that is if there are any members that are new or members of the audience that are listening in. Secondly, I'd like to focus on the general fund, revenues and expenditures, and on your fund balance. So let me start off first by thanking the administration and the board for all their help that they this has been very challenging times. Trying to do an audit on site and remotely has been very, very challenging, as you all know. Just having board meetings remotely is not being able to interact with everyone is very, very difficult. But I trust that that we will get by this. We will get through it. And hopefully we won't have to do this again in this manner next year. But let me once again congratulate the school district for earning. And I say earning is because we CPA firms do not give out opinions. They are earned by the entity. They are earned by the school district based on administration, based on your internal controls, based on the adequacy of your finances. So the district has once again earned unmodified opinions in various sections. One on the internal controls, one on your grants, and one and the other is on your financials. I would like to take you to Exhibit G1. No, excuse me. Hold on. Let me start off with the general fund, and that's an Exhibit C1. And I'm going to take you to your unassigned fund balance that you can see right in the middle of your screen of $61,399,064. Now I want you to keep that number in mind as we go forward. Your total fund balance, $71,584,824. Now, if you can go to the schedule, I believe it's G1. Also, hold on, these pages, I don't have page numbers, so let me go back. Hold on. I don't like the Zoom stuff. Exhibit C3. Statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. If you go almost to the middle of that page, you'll see that your total expenditures are a little over 400 million, almost $405 million. Y'all see that? If you take that number divided by 365 days, there you go. It indicates what it costs the district to open their doors every single day. And that's about 1.1 million. So $1.1 million, it's what it cost the district over the last fiscal year to operate. Now, remember I mentioned a few minutes ago, keep that unassigned fund balance in the back of your mind. If you take that 1.1 million that it costs the district to operate, and you divide that number into your unassigned fund balance, it provides the district with the days of operations. But that translates, no revenue comes in at all for whatever reason. How many days can the district operate without impacting services, payroll, whatever it is? Remember that 1.1 million to operate. You can operate for 55 days, almost 2 months, without impacting your operations. The next schedule I would like to take you to is G1. And the reason that I like to look at that schedule as an auditor is it demonstrates the adequacy of the budget process. One of the duties that, as you all well know, that board members are entrusted to do, aside from making policy decisions, hiring, superintendents, etc., is to adopt a budget. That schedule indicates how well you did or did not do upon the adoption of the budget. These are different times. But if you look at that schedule, you'll see up on the revenue side that you had a deficit revenue of 21 million. What that means is that you budgeted X and you were $21 million short in terms of your revenue budget to actual. Under normal circumstances, that would be not very well. It would not be good, but you got to go further down and look what you did on the expenditure side. You came out with a favorable variance of almost the same amount of money, $21 million also, which you spent less during the year than what you budgeted. At the end of the day, your fund balance is not impacted materially at all. There's a difference about $88,000. So by the time it's all over, the short that you came up on the revenues were offset by the favorable variance that you had on your expenditure side. So is that good or bad? Well, based on what we're going through, it's good. And I think most school districts that had to shut down, on the upside, what every single school district saved money on was obviously on facilities closures, transportation costs, food costs, maintenance, operations. That was the upside to this. So had you had the shortage in revenue and not had the favorable variance on the expenditure side, your fund balance would have taken a $2 million hit. That's not what happened. So essentially, you've got 55 days worth of operations, almost 2 months. It's what TEA I would even though they don't have a fixed number of what is good, they like to see anything above 60 to 75 days in unassigned. But your total fund balance was 71 million. $10 million as you go back to that original C1 schedule. You've made some commitments on your fund balance that basically have encumbered $10 million of your 71 million, which leaves again the $61 million fund balance of unassigned. Those are the highlights. Those are the highlights of the audit presentation. The other upside is that there were no management letter comments to United. So that's a positive thing. That means that your internal controls are functioning the way administration and board have adopted. Based on our testing, we found no exceptions based on our testing, which is good. That's kind of rare when a district comes out with no management comments from our side. So I want to congratulate the administration. I want to congratulate the board, not only for your public service, but for ensuring that the school district continues on a positive path forward. And that concludes my presentation. I'm open to any comments, questions, and I'll try to answer those as we move forward. Jeanette Monsiváis is also on. She was the in charge of the audit. And Jeanette, if you'd like to say a few words now is the opportunity to do so.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Jeanette Monsiváis. I was the in-charge auditor of the district for the fiscal year 2020. And I would just like to give thanks to the finance department, to Ms. Benavides, Mr. Flores, and Ms. Cabello, as well as all the other departments that have helped me throughout the audit. Everybody was available to me and everyone responded in a very timely manner. So I really do appreciate that. And it was really great working for the district again this year. So thank you.
Any member of the board or administration have any questions for us at this time?
No question, Mr. Casco. We appreciate the
Mr.
effort.
Cascos,
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Mr.
Mr.
Cascos,
Castillo.
this is Mr. Castillo.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Castillo, is there a grade established on these audits, or is there a grade level posted or something like that as to how we did for the school district?
We don't give grades. TEA, does that based on your financials. But again, based on the fact that we did not find any exceptions to our testing, that does not mean that something did not happen. But based on our testing, we found nothing that would ask us to report to the administration or to the board. So if I had to, I'm not going to give you a grade, but you didn't fail by any means. You did well. That I can tell you.
Do you have a time limit or a time amount that you did the audit? Is there a guideline time?
In terms of?
How long does it take to do this audit?
It was very challenging. We do 12 to 15 school districts throughout South Texas, and every single one is different. The better prepared administration is in terms of getting the financial data to us, pulling samples for us, et cetera, determines the time. We've got districts that take way too much time because they may not have the personnel to be able to pull information for us. Their books aren't balanced timely. We're having to wait around. I really can't answer that. Every district is different. I'm not sure how many person hours it took. It was probably in excess of 500 of person hours, and that does not include my time. But that's all I can tell you. I really can't tell you how long it took. Jeanette, would you like to address that? Can you?
Yes. Well, it's again, like Mr. Casco said, it just depends on, how fast we get the information. And with the district, I was getting information fairly quickly due to the circumstances that we're in. It was very different this year due to us not being able to go to the district, like prior years. But overall, it didn't take us that long. We got everything that we needed, thanks to the finance department for providing everything to us.
Thank you
If I
very
had
much.
to give you a time frame, Mr. Castillo, if I had to give you a time frame, it's probably anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. It takes. Even though you all do write the report, it takes a lot of review from. We want to make sure just because you write the report, it's still my signature on it. And we want to make sure that that clerical errors aren't there, misspellings, consistencies are there, et cetera. So if I had to guess, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks is what it takes to do United.
Yeah, thank you, and forgive me for asking these questions. It's a matter of trying to get an understanding for the general public or the person who is not well versed in the terms that are being thrown out here or mentioned rather. So that's why I'm asking, just to see if I ever have to answer, how did we do in an audit? I just want to be prepared as to what I would say. And so wanted to emphasize that. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bellis.
Thank you, sir, for the question.
Mr. Bellis, if I can elaborate and answer Mr. Castillo's question.
Go ahead, Mr. Flores.
The TEA will review these financial statements when we submit them, and we get an annual report of financial integrity. It's school first. And for probably the last 16 out of the last 17 years, United ISD has received superior rating, and it's based off of the financial information from these external audits that we submit to TEA.
Which is the highest rating that you can get.
Yes.
Right, Mr. Flores?
Yes, sir. And then just to give a little bit more feedback from Mr. Castillo, we've been having the audits with Fiscal and Associates for a few years now. And I'm very, very proud to say for the Division of Finance and all the departments that submit data and give us the information, it's all been accurate enough that we have not received any letter to management items at all over the past 4 years for sure, maybe even 5. And not to toot our own horn, but just to give credit where credit is due, this district should be very proud of that, because very few districts are going to have an audit and have a running like that where there are no letter to management items over several years, consecutive years. Thank you.
All right, motion to approve.
This is a financial budget. It doesn't include a performance budget. Am I correct, or how would you answer that?
This is all just the financial numbers.
That's correct. We have a motion. Do we have a second to approve?
Yes, second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Casco. Mr. Flores.
All right, thank you all very much. We'll be leaving now.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
you.
Let's see approval of property tax refunds for the month of December 2020.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bailey. So the tax office is presenting 4 reimbursement checks to taxpayers. 3 of them were for erroneous payment and 1 was an overpayment. They total $11,256.24. Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes. Item 7D, approval of warning bids, proposals, and qualifications. Thank you, Mr. Flores.
Good afternoon, everyone. Cordelia Flores Jackson for the record. We have the following recommendations for your consideration. RFP 2020-067, Biohazardous Waste Disposal Services. The recommended vendor is MedSharps LLC. RFP 2020-069, Surveillance Cameras and Access Controls Phase 2 to M1 Networks. We also have 2 renewals for your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have a motion as presented?
So move.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Item 7E, adopt the resolution of early notification of employee separation from employment incentive to full-time district employees for the 2020-2021 school year.
Mr. Veliz, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Members of the board, Mr. Santos, and members of the viewing audience. Good afternoon. My name is David Garcia, Associate Superintendent for Human Resources. We're going to be presenting to the Board of Trustees for the board's consideration an early incentive program, which we have carried out in the past couple of years, and we want to recommend to the board that we continue as such. This particular program allows the administration of the school district to strategize with regards to staffing, allowing employees that wish to have a career change, retirement, or relocation to other places to give us a heads up as to if they're going to exercise this particular personal decision. And what it does, it helps us with regards to staffing. It keeps us fiscally responsible with regards to all expenditures and staffing at every single location. So there is a proclamation, there is a resolution that is presented to you also along with this, and it allows for professional employees that wish to withdraw from the school district $1,000, and for paraprofessionals and auxiliary staff $500. This is something we've done in the past, and we would like to continue with this particular program with the board's approval. To approve as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
So move. Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chef. Item 7F, approval of donations.
Yes, Mr. Riley, members of the board, it is recommended that the board of trustees graciously accept the following donations, and they will be attached to the minutes. We have 1 donation of over $1,000. The donation was received by the health department and includes 15 boxes of EpiPens, 2-pack, auto injection 0.3 mg, and EpiPens Junior auto injectors 0.15 mg with a total value of $71,400 from BioRidge Pharmaceutical Company through Mylan. And again, I want to thank this company really for helping us out, and these will allow our students to, if they need an EpiPen, we've got them at the schools.
Right. This would be dispersed throughout the district.
Yes, throughout the different campuses.
A motion was presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Item 7G, approval of board minutes for the months of September, October, November, and December 2020.
Recommendations to approve as presented.
So moved. A motion, do I have a second to approve?
Second.
And a second is for discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? motion passes. Item 7H, recommendation for approval of the amendment to the contract for JOC 2020-004, that is elementary school building repairs in the amount of $89,750 to upgrade the building structure as required. Mr. Rangel, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Vélez, Mr. Santos, Mr. Cruz, members of the audience, and fellow administrators. We bring to the board for your consideration today a recommendation for approving an amendment to the construction contract for job order contract 2020-04 Pettis Elementary School building repairs. This amendment to the contract will consist of an additional scope of work and additional time extension of 60 calendar days to construct some upgrades to the structure at Pettis Elementary School in the amount of $89,750. The administration is recommending approval of this amendment in order to upgrade the existing building structure as proposed by the project architect Cavazos and our associates, as well as their structural engineering consultants. These upgrades are in order to meet current building codes at the main entrance structure, the main porch at Pettis Elementary. This project, for those, I guess the benefit of those may not be up to date on this project. This goes back to May 21st of 2020. There were damages that were caused by those heavy storms at that time. And at Pettis Elementary School, we experienced some major damage to our building facilities. So this was awarded. Now, during the demolition phase of this project a few weeks ago, when we uncovered the main entrance structure, we did notice, or the architects noticed and brought up to our attention, some of the column features that were concealed behind the existing brick, they had to be removed in order to connect a new roof. Well, there was an assessment, very visible, that structure, due to wear and tear and over the years, as well as some new building codes, required to be upgraded. These items were concealed, but were identified now. So we recommend to do our due diligence and upgrade the structure. This will require a modification to the scope of work. Therefore, we need to amend the contract, as well as there will be a time extension.
Right.
Do you have any questions?
No questions this
So
time.
moved.
Second, any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? None opposed, motion passes.
Thank you,
Sir. Item 7.9, first reading of local policies in Castile update 116.
Good afternoon, members of the board, members of the audience, and members of the public. We bring Mr. Garcia, just for your information, we do have a reading process for adopting policies of local policies. So this is our first reading, what we would call, and the following month we'll bring in our second reading. So there's 4 policies, 1 exhibit. We approve, or the board approves, the local policies and the exhibit changes. And these policies are a result of the last legislative session that they're still catching up on. So just to give you a little bit of highlight on each of the policies, CQB local, which is a technology resources. And this is more than anything else to ease compliance with this law. The recommended revision delegates the responsibility to the superintendent. So the blue is new, the red is deleted on this particular section of this policy. And we can move up on the screen so that the board members can kind of just review that CQB local policy. The following policy is DCE local policy, and Mr. G, maybe you can assist me with this one, keep on going. We're at the policies already. DCE local, and basically what this does is it's just to clear up the fact that individuals who are on a Chapter 21, who are not on a Chapter 21 contract for individuals, that they will follow the same grievance process as any other employee within our school district. And basically the Chapter 21 contract is, those are teachers, anybody who's on a permit or certified. And so individuals who are not on a Chapter 21, then they would have the same benefits. So these are people that we would put on a permit. That's the DCE local policy. Our next policy for revision is FFAC local, And what TASB is recommending is that we remove all of our administrative requirements on here when we talk about accidents involving students and so forth, emergency treatment forms. Those are more administrative duties and practices, so they've asked us to remove that. And all we're doing is aligning our current practices to the Texas Department of State Health Services guidance. And then the last page on FFAC, we talk about medical treatment and how we go about it. If you recall, when you had your children here, those of you who had your children here, we asked for that blue card, emergency card, every year to be completed, and that is in file with each nurse at each campus. And the last policy that is coming up for revision is GKA local, and basically all it is one word difference right there. It just said 90 days before. And so TASB was very clear that they want to go ahead and put, make sure that we have calendar days as opposed to the employment days of an individual. And that's it for the policies. There are also a number of legal policies, but those do not go for approval because those are through state statutes and so forth, but they're in your informational items as well. I would like to clarify one point in the last motion that you all made. There was a question by Mr. Castillo that asked, is the audit a performance evaluation tool or the financial component? And it is a performance evaluation tool with regards to how the district is performing on the financial component. So it is, in a sense, both. Right? Just to clarify that for the record.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Thank you for the first reading. There's no action. With that, we'll move to agenda item 8, closed session. This time I'm going to recommend we go into closed session time at 12:33 p.m. and the board will adjourn into closed session pursuant to sections 551.071, 551.072, and 551.076 of the Texas Government Code to discuss agenda items 8A to 8C.
We're ready to go.
We're back from closed session, agenda item 9, reconvening. Closed session time is now 1:13 p.m. and the board will take appropriate action on items if necessary as discussed in closed session. For the record, Mr. Castillo and Ms. Oliveros have logged off. However, we still have a quorum of board members. First item, sir.
The recommendation is to approve the timeline for the superintendent search process as recommended by TASB.
So
Make a motion.
motion, a second. Do we have further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Those opposed? None opposed. Motion passes.
Recommendation agenda item 9B is to approve the updated job description as discussed.
Second.
Motion.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? Unopposed. Motion passes. And we have HC action regarding regarding possible naming of schools presented. We're gonna have two.
Okay, well, we're gonna have two elementaries, so on one middle school and one elementary. On the COVID and the new elementary, we would like to, I would make a motion to name it under the superintendent, Mr. Roberto Santos.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion. First motion is to name New Colb's Elementary to open later this year. The existing superintendent, Mr. Roberto J. Santos. Do we have a second?
Second.
In a second. All further discussion? Those in favor? Aye.
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 And then the other one would be the Washington Middle to be renamed under Juan Roberto Ramirez.
Second.
A motion, the second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Ramirez, aye.
None opposed. Motion's carried. Congratulations, Mr. Santos. Mr. Ramirez, congratulations.
Thank the board for the support and it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to have my name at one of our schools, and academic is obviously number one for us. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for your service.
The same thing with me. It's an honor to be on the board
since the first time I came in, I stated that it was a big honor. And for all these years that I've been on the board and assisting all those children that within my reach and the administration's office, we're very happy to have great students that came out of Washington, and it will be a great school, a middle school coming out of the new name, Ramirez Middle School. Thank you very much for everything.
No, thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, there's no recommendation on agenda item 9D and 9E, but we need to go back to the agenda item 5 on board recognition.
All right,
Can we do the recognitions?
So moving back to agenda item 5, board recognitions.
Good afternoon, parents, teachers, students, and community members. It is with great pride that we would like to acknowledge United High School scholars that have contributed to their campus scores. These students have excelled in their studies while enrolled in our high schools, and they truly exemplify scholarship and academic excellence. These students have taken the College Board's advanced placement exams, rigorous college-level content, specific assessments, which various colleges and universities consider in awarding college credit or advanced placement. An advanced placement student may earn one of the following 4 distinctions: the designation of AP Scholar by having received grades of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. The distinction AP Scholar with honor by earning an average grade of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and grades of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. The designation of AP Scholar with distinction by earning an average grade of 3.5 on all AP exams taken and grades of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. Or the designation of National AP Scholar for receiving an average score of at least 4 on all AP exams taken and scores of 4 or higher on 8 or more of these exams. Congratulations to the 123 AP Scholars from United High School and their parents. To our students, teachers, and parents, thank you for your support and good luck in all your future endeavors. Congratulations once again for setting the example of scholarship and academic excellence in our district. We're now ready to honor some of our best athletes. United High School Girls Cross Country Team, Regional Qualifier, Coach Ernesto Benavides, Valerie Garcia, Regional and State Qualifier. United High School Boys and Girls Tennis Team, Regional Semifinalist, Sweet 16. United High School Girls Volleyball Team, Coach Leticia Longoria, Regional Quarterfinalist. United South High School Girls Cross Country, Coach Cristina Tristan, Giselle Aguilar, Regional Qualifier. Genesis Castillo, Regional Qualifier. United South High School Football Team, Coach Joe Koss, Area Champions, Regional Semifinalist. JB Alexander High School Boys Cross Country Team, Regional Qualifier, Coach Luis Mendoza. JB Alexander High School Boys Tennis Team, Coach Eddie Cuellar, Regional Semifinalist, Sweet 16. JB Alexander High School Girls Tennis Team, Coach Eddie Cuellar, Regional Semifinalist, Sweet 16. JB Alexander High School Girls Volleyball Team, Coach Ariana Bermea Mendoza, By-District Finalist. Lyndon B. Johnson High School Boys Cross Country, Coach Manuel Gamboa. Chris Navarrete, Regional Qualifier. Dylan Navarrete, Regional Qualifier. Lyndon B. Johnson High School Girls Volleyball Team, Coach Selena Garcia, By-District Finalist.
That's it.
Chicago United.
Informational items.
All right, so quick congratulations to our student athletes and all their coaches and for a job well done throughout the last several months. So we'll go to agenda item 6, informational presentation, the finance report for the Finance Division monthly financial report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Veliz. The district had a portfolio balance of $217 million, of which 51% represented general operating funds at $112 million. If you combine all the bond funds, they're the next largest group that's represented on the portfolio. They represent 34% at $74.9 million. We invested these funds at a portfolio yield of 0.35%. Which is really good when comparing it to the current pool rate of 0.15%. And today's 30-day T-bill rate is 0.08%. So our investments are doing very, very well. We have an administrative cost ratio of 11, well, the TA allows us to have 11, a little bit over 11%. We are at actual expenditures of 8.56%, so we're well within the limits of the administrative cost ratio. Our financial reports, unaudited financial statements through December 31st, our revenues are already at 170 million, and our expenditures are only at 156 million. So far we're showing a positive variance through December. The tax office report, we had tax office collections of about 46% compared to last year's tax office collections this time at 43%. Currently, as of today, we're at 53.48% collections, which is $93.5 million in tax collections. The rest of the report, you'll find all the purchasing bids and proposals through December 31st, and all the grant departments, grants that they've reviewed, submitted, negotiated, and amended or reported on in the book as well.
Thank you, Mr. Flores, for the information.
Okay, on the instructional, Mr. Bailey's, curriculum instruction, we're gonna move that to the next board meeting. If we go to the budget 2022.
Yes, sir.
For Lila Rodriguez.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Just a real quick update on our budget status. Just to let everybody know that the 87th legislative session started January 12th, just last week. They did elect a new Speaker of the House, Republican Representative Dade Phelan from Beaumont, and I do know that the Senate has already created their committees. On January 11th, the Texas Comptroller announced his revenue estimate of $112.5 billion for the 22-23 biennium, which is down from the 2021 estimate of $119.1 billion. However, he had already said it was going down, and he thought it was going down by a lot more, but they came up with a better revenue estimate. So hopefully they will not impact us too much. As far as United ISD, we're using a projected student enrollment of 41,366. I think the last enrollment that we had was 41,900. And so we're being very conservative based on our enrollment. This is from our planning department. We'll use this enrollment to do staffing at the campuses and also to do our budget allocations to the campuses and departments. The proposed boundary changes will be taking place, I think, next week by the planning department and Mr. Mike Garza. And then the human resources is in the process of updating their staffing guidelines, which we will use to staff our campuses for next year. And then Sam in his office will start allocating budget to campuses and departments so that they can start building their budgets for next year. Thank you.
All right, so
We'll move to the federal and state program grant update. Morales.
Yes, good afternoon, board members, members of the audience. Rebecca Morales, Executive Director of Federal Programs, for the record. This is just to inform you that on behalf of our district, we are submitting a grant to TEA. It is a competitive grant. It is the 2021-2022 Nita Lowy 21st Century Community Learning Center grant. And with this, if awarded this grant, it would allow us to open up some after-school programs, possibly at some of our elementary campuses that currently do not have a program or have very low enrollment. So we should be hearing from the state in around April or May.
thank you, Mel.
That's it.
Motion to adjourn. All right, we have motion to adjourn. Motion in favor. Aye. 125. You're adjourned.